Oh, you know what?
Damn it,
You know
they
what
let
it
you
is?
in?
I forgot, when you use the key, you have to push, I have a key. You have to push it,
Wait,
the
I-
thing
I-
in and turn it.
How come he has a key? I don't know.
John gave.
Well, I don't know when John had a key.
So it's got keys, allow that.
I never got a.
I never got it. What's that? I said, I reserve the right.
It actually was, no, it's for like a term.
Sorry?
Yeah, please.
On the that's.
You read shoes.
No, you don't have to.
No, even my bag, it says counselor. I mean, you get a mayor upgrade, right?
Yeah.
I just put my business card.
But every 3
Oh,
years, you
did you?
still have to do the reappointment thing. I don't know why.
Jane DeNoble. Give us an occasional standing ovation.
Yeah.
You're the sixth.
Oh, good grief. Okay, maybe Erica has one. Erica,
Maybe.
is that a charger for my phone?
Oh, I got you.
What's that? Oh, you got one? Oh, Mitch has one. Okay. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, look at that.
You just gotta talk to talk to the IT guy.
Oh, you did? What'd you do?
No, you have to talk to the IT guy.
Why?
Do you need a cable, a charger?
Just mention
On your guy.
Yeah.
Are you plugging in somewhere? You
Listen, I think it's an. Sorry, that's not Jane. Oh.
Because you can do one of two things. You can have an iPhone, flat as back.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. You're the deaf.
Yeah. Sometimes I play about that, I have feedback.
I always
Missed you guys.
wait.
You were like totally dressed.
Oh,
Like, I don't know, 20 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted. I was just trying to set down. Or something.
We're not, you do, break, and if you don't want to do it, no problem.
No, other way. No, one more.
No, Jane's gonna be they should be like that.
Separating them.
No, you have it over to.
Oh.
That's like. See.
Commercial space.
Okay.
It's so small.
So you can-
Shed my breeze. All right, thank you. No, here
The phone is really old.
It's an apple.
Yeah, but.
That's not good to see you. You weren't that.
Do I have his depth or?
What is?
I had the pants and the shirt.
Oh, I think I'm 60.
No. I don't even.
I thought, shave today,
You good?
Mayor shaves every day.
Need an old like.
You and I do not shave.
Once will make you twice a bit. You can't call me with us.
Hi, what do you got?
You wanted me to say one for you from last week.
Flower.
Yeah, thank you. He told me there was a favorable article. or
I
something.
thought it was just a regular article about Burley Beach, but he thought it was favorable.
Well, in this day and age, I think regular is favorable.
Yeah.
Trip. Hold on.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, Jane the one has it. Oh, no, this goes to the computer.
Yeah, that's wrong, light thing.
No, you got there.
There
we go. There we go.
The wiki.
No, 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 no.
I mean, I'll gladly do it, but you have interest in doing this too. It's basically, all I got out of. The animal sheet.
Sounds like that's right. Oh. Yeah. There's a war.
She's the only have to.
Yeah. Oh, Yes.
Block off.
Well, yeah, there is. We'll get back to them.
You said what you heard.
No, for us.
All right, right.
Yes.
No, we're gonna have a certain picture is that. This is just. Making sure we
Yeah.
go this way to get the plan.
They know the employee.
Hey,
that-
man. Good.
He had an employee for a long
You can
time.
have say-
Oh, really?
He's the employee. you know.
Excited about it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't-
They forgot the injury that him acute.
Everything.
Under a lot.
Digit, yeah.
Up in America.
No, I mean, everything.
But Paul, you okay with that if I give it to you?
Why going back? I mean,
I was thinking of,
Beginning of summer.
there's one other that I wanted to ask you about. The last one.
No, you don't like summer?
Authorizing the execution of $2 billion.
No, I was there.
I realize they're
earlier. They're only being fine.
Oh, we're getting old, you know, like.
They know.
You own more.
Yeah, this way. I don't have to-
Oh, the only thing I didn't know was. Right before this, so
You and I too.
two in a row, two in a
We
row.
would never think of
It's, you know, same.
T-shirt. There's a reason I live alone.
Wake up early now. Yeah. I will tell you.
Really?
Yeah, felt like I was.
Yeah. I was-
I
don't know if you-
So right now, we're.
Yeah, we got the.
I had the month from.
Yeah, but
He's on the up and up.
Yeah, right now.
One day. That's. He supports, yeah. He has.
I'm busy, but.
Yeah, anything else I can do, let me know.
Build all that.
Yeah.
Thursday was like, they ran into the problem, they were just Thursday. The woman called me today. It's not you want to. It's not that big.
It's hard to park.
Bill, right?
About what, life?
No, agenda and everything.
Came up. Is there?
Yeah, he's parked on the building. Should be able
Huh?
Today.
While they're doing the work, no.
So you can.
They should be able to tomorrow,
Oh,
and then they'll put out signs again for Thursday.
they let the residents know.
We handed out, they put barrels of signs on it, and then I printed out like yesterday. That was the special.
Yeah.
So the street open, all the streets. Right.
And they stayed away from there, which is like.
I think this would make them go 6 to 10.
So just it's your tax.
Is the, I still had the $400 around the schools. And then they put it in there. And then they're fine.
Yeah, can't go by the clock.
And.
No, is that top off?
Oh, yeah, so then like.
Right.
Well, it's 5:30.
Where is James?
For Jane. And then the meeting comes back.
I think she actually left the room.
So do you have the that?
What?
The-
Sure.
Hey, Jane? That clock is wrong.
Anticipate a long. Shane, come back, you're here with us.
I know.
Technology changes.
Although it's fun up here too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're having a great.
As soon as you sit down, I'm gonna ask everybody to stand.
Okay, good.
Call this meeting in order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce that the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 18th of 2025, that a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised, public attendance for meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and a courtesy only. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption and action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person council quorum. Ms. DeNoble?
Here.
Ms. Greenblatt? Here. Mr. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Here. Okay, welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming out in person, and for those of you on Zoom, thank you for joining us. Item number 5 on our agenda this evening is workshops, and anyone who has the updated version of our agenda will see that we have no workshop scheduled any longer. However, if anyone is here because of our posting of our initial agenda on Friday, we did anticipate having a workshop on our 2026 budget. We received additional information, insights on financial activity related to that budget over the weekend. We decided we were not ready yet to introduce. Our plan now is to introduce the 2026 budget on our Cinco de Mayo meeting, May 5th, our next meeting. And just a quick overview, without getting into a lot of detail that no one would really appreciate at the moment. The issue is largely for the council and for our CFO and for our consulting CFO, Jeanette Larison. Bradley Beach had a lot of unique activity that happened last year, financial activity. We had kind of, somewhat, not once. I can never get Councilwoman DeNoble to leave my stuff alone.
Sorry, he pointed it out, so it's.
Can anyone not, everyone hear me? Anyone not hear me? Show of hands, no hearing. Okay. Just again, to give everyone a quick overview of why we are not proceeding this evening. We had some very unusual financial activity last year. We had a very large retrospective salary and wage payment, a one-time payment to catch the union up. Many of you may recall, we had 2.5 years without a union agreement, and we had to give them retroactive back pay. Well, question number 1 is, how do we treat that in terms of the amount of the dollars that we paid last year, and whether or not there are related charges that also have to be brought into play in our 2026 budget. We also had the sale of the church, a very significant asset, brought in $4,875,000. And there are significant questions as to how much of that revenue we can recognize this year, and what expenses need to be offset or are allowed to be offset by that revenue. And so those are the two most significant things. There's one third one, which is the Borough of Bradley Beach, back in the end of or middle of 24, entered into a 50-50 cost sharing agreement with Avon, Avon by the Sea. And that is related to particular bond ordinance for our outfall pipe and that's been expanded to include our gates in Sylvan Lake. Total project costs over $4 million. 3 million of that or so, subject to, grant funding, reimbursement. And then whether it be a remaining $1 million or so to be determined, because we don't have quotes yet on the gate, but we're estimating it to be $500,000 or a little more. But that, say, $1 million left over, we share 50-50. Now, we, Bradley Beach, bond the money, pay the contractor, which we've been doing. We get reimbursement at some point, 50% from Avon. That wasn't necessarily reflected in our 2026 very preliminary budget. So these are three major initiatives that are pretty unusual in the world of municipal government. So I've been going back and forth with not only our CFO, Mitch Syme, our new CFO, but also our prior CFO, who is now our CFO consultant, Jeanette Larison. So we were not ready to introduce tonight, but we do plan to be ready to introduce in 2 weeks. So that's a quick summary of why we have no workshop item scheduled for tonight. So moving to item 6 on the agenda is presentations and bids. And our first presentation is a proclamation for Arbor Day. And I'd like to turn to Council President Denofa.
That'd be my honor. Thank you, Mayor. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the mayor of the Borough of Bradley Beach does hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the Borough of Bradley Beach, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Be it further resolved, the mayor urges all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Thank you, Council President. Next is the presentation or proclamation for National Military Appreciation Month, and I'd like to ask Councilwoman Greenblatt to present that.
Thank you, Mayor, and I hope this gets some applause too. National Military Appreciation Month. Whereas in 1999, Senator John McCain introduced legislation to designate the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month, and both the Senate and House of Representatives adopted resolutions calling for Americans to recognize and honor U.S. service members. And whereas National Military Appreciation Month, NMAM, is celebrated every May and is a declaration that encourages U.S. citizens to observe the month in a symbol of unity. And whereas NMAM honors the current and former members of the U.S. Armed Forces, including those who have died in the pursuit of freedom. And whereas the month of May is characterized by 6 national observances, which highlight the contributions of those who have served. Loyalty Day on May 1st, Public Service Recognition Week, May 3rd through May 9th, Victory Day in Europe, also known as VE Day, on May 7th, Armed Forces Day on May 17th, and Memorial Day on May 25th. Now therefore be it resolved, the governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do hereby proclaim the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month, and encourage all citizens to recognize the services of all former and current military personnel and to take part in all national services.
Thank you, Patrick. All right, thank you. We'll move to item 7 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve the April 7th, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble,
I will abstain since I wasn't here.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki,
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes. Okay, before we move to item 8 on the agenda, the reasons for the motion I'm about to make will be evident within a few minutes, but I'd like to make a motion that we move slightly out of order and we go beyond the public comment for a second. We'll come back to it. And I'll make a motion that we begin item 9 on our agenda, ordinances, because I'd like to discuss the first ordinance, 2026-24.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes, and for this ordinance, Councilman Mitchell Carp, I'd like to give you the floor.
Sure, thank you. This ordinance is being introduced to address some practical challenges associated with groundwater slides.
I'm sorry, Mitch, before you go farther, I gave you the wrong. What I wanted to tee up was the gas leak blowers.
Oh,
My mistake, sorry. So instead of 24, I did motion that we move to ordinances, so I think we're still good, but I would like us to talk about the adoption of ordinance 2026-21.
I can do that too.
That's already good. My mistake, sorry.
All right, so let me pivot here. So after some discussions with my fellow council members, it's clear that the ordinance doesn't have the support that's needed to move forward at this time. And as a result, I'll be withdrawing it from consideration this evening. That said, I do want to go on record expressing my continued support for the intent behind this ordinance. This proposal is about addressing quality of life concerns in our community, specifically noise and air pollution and broader environmental impacts associated with gas leak blowers. It is also aimed to take a measured approach by creating a phased framework, one that balances the needs of the residents and the landscapers and local businesses while encouraging a transition towards quieter and less polluting alternatives over time. I believe these are real concerns that many in our community share, and ones that will only become more relevant as more municipalities and maybe even the state of New Jersey continue to act in this area. I understand that there are differing perspectives on how and when to make this transition, but I do believe that this is an issue that we need to confront sooner than later. And so while this ordinance won't be moving forward tonight, I appreciate the conversations that it has sparked, and I remain committed to working collaboratively to find a path forward that reflects both community priorities and the council consensus. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw ordinance 2026-21 from consideration.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble,
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki,
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Carver. I know you worked very hard on this and I know you've already accomplished the change to our the garbage recycling waste. Thank you.
For leaf blowing, yeah.
So thank you for your efforts today. All right, that is the reason I made the motion to move out of order, just so anyone here who specifically who wanted to comment on that ordinance understands that the council does not plan to proceed further. We will get the public comment next. So with that said, I will now make a motion to go back to the original order of our agenda, and that is item 8, public comments, questions pertaining to anything on the agenda. Erica, we had a second. I made a motion to go back to it.
Oh, sorry about that. Ms. DeNoble,
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki,
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes. Okay, now we'll open up to public comment or questions on any item on the agenda. Yes, sir, Mr. Kaplan.
Yes, if you don't mind, I'm doing this for my seat. Rafet Kaplan, 409 Brenwick. I have a comment on question on 2026-126. I want to enthusiastically lend my support to the hiring of Michael Collins, who, if people don't know, worked with us very closely on the Charter Study Commission. He's a very, very fine lawyer. I say this is not someone in working with him just on the particular issues of the charter study. He's intelligent, he's competent, he adapts to high pressure situations as well as many of the $600 an hour lawyers that I've worked with in my previous career. So 2 gold stars, whose ever idea it was to bring him on. My question is he brought on in part or in whole to help shepherd through the form of government reforms that we have all been discussing now since the campaign?
That is the only reason he's been brought in, because we are trying to respond to the comments, the recommendations made by the former Charter Study Commission, that I know you're working through, Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen delivered those recommendations to us. And in particular, most of those we can address directly to council. The one that we really needed expert advice on is how and when and, you know, what it would look like to implement staggering of terms. So Mr. Collins is specifically being retained to guide us on that.
That's excellent news, and I'm glad you brought up that particular point. There is a ticking clock on that. We need to get on the ballot by, well, you know all of this, by the summer. So this is excellent news. Thank you.
And as to whose idea was Mr. Cannon's,
Mr. Who?
Ray Cannon.
Oh.
He, although
I owe you 2 gold stars.
No, I mean, Michael's the expert in this arena, so, you know, I'm better to look at it, to be honest.
I'm sorry, what?
American.
Mayor and
No, no,
Mayor.
you're only attorney, Ken. Enough responsibilities. Sorry. Thank you, Mark.
All right, so thank you, sir. Other comments or questions? This in the back row, you had a question?
Just regarding.
You have to stand up.
Oh, thank you.
And provide name and address, yeah, if you,
Come to the podium.
could you come forward? That way everyone on Zoom gets to see you too.
Okay. I'm Vicky O'Toole. I live right on Central Lorraine, and I was here for the noise ordinance. And I just wanted some paperwork. It's something that you started with. I don't see it anywhere. This is the first time I looked at it, so I'm concerned about that. I wanted to help out a little or do something with that, so, but then it was just shot down, so. But
Well, all the original ordinance is on the website, so if you,
Okay.
yeah, so if you go to the minutes for the 4-7 meeting,
okay,
you'll see the original ordinance there.
okay, I just saw the little piece, it just,
Yeah,
that's it.
no, if you,
Yeah.
I think if you go further down, you'll see the
The
entire
whole,
ordinance.
the
Yeah.
whole thing, okay.
What number was that? It was
One,
26.
6,
21.
2026.
I think that the numbers.
Actually, you have to click on the date of the meeting
Yeah.
and look at all the documents that. are
Yeah.
listed.
Okay, that's
on there.
even better.
Okay,
thank you.
anyways, okay.
No, I wanted the actual.
Oh, the actual one.
Yeah. And Miss, if you, after you read it, if you have any questions or if there's something you would like to volunteer assistance with,
Yeah.
please just contact me or anyone on the council.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments about anything on the agenda? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Linda Duffy, 312 Brinley. I was concerned because the agenda kept on changing today on the website.
That's right, because
The agenda kept on changing on the website
Yes.
today. I don't know what was going on with it, but anyway, I was interested in finding out why it wasn't on the agenda. How much the lead paint cost was gonna be.
okay, so so for the lead abatement, what happened was a couple meetings ago, I don't know if it was last or a couple, we authorized, we did a bid and we authorized the hiring of someone to do lead abatement work. And we realized, so we hired this gentleman in his business. And then we realized in our ordinance, we didn't have a fee. So we have an amendment tonight for lead abatement to identify fee structure for lead abatement testing. And as soon as we introduce and adopt, that gentleman, probably a month or so from now, will begin doing lead abatement work. If you want specifically to know the dollar amounts,
Yes, and it's only gonna be for rental units?
Mr. Cannon, you helped us with this. Would you mind responding? Would you-
Sure, so, it only applies to certain categories of properties. So fundamentally, if it's built after 1978, the general things that you see in your lead paint disclosures when you purchase your home,
Mhm.
but also, the landlord, it's basically landlords, upon a transfer and occupancy, you have to have a lead paint, you have to have this lead safe certification, just like you need landlord registration, essentially.
So it's done once.
Once
Only
every 3
once.
years. So, well, it also depends on the methodology. So
And
it is also,
and the condition.
well, and what's going on with the property, of course. But in general, like a landlord can pay an increased fee to get a lead safe certification from a certified DCA contractor, and then that's lifetime. So it really depends on the individual needs of the person who needs the
So
certification.
we didn't hire a certified contractor?
So
We did.
we did, however, the law allows of just like a homeowner to call anyone on the list that's DCA contractor certified and provide that certification for a registered contractor. So you're not, the property owner is not required to use the borough's contracted person.
Oh,
We got a discount rate and it's probably a good deal, but if you want to use your own for some reason, so long as they're on the DCA list, you can go on the website and pick any of those and we take the certification from that as well.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Other comments or questions about anything on the agenda? Anyone? Yes, I see one hand, correct?
Don Greenberg.
Mr. Greenberg? It's your turn. People have more challenges with muting and unmuting.
There we go. Okay. Huh. And I don't seem to be able to get my video on either. It says the host won't let me. Anyway, I just want to echo the comments about Michael Collins. He was fantastic to work with. He knows his stuff, and I'm sure he'll be able to guide you guys through the maze of rules and regulations in order to get the staggered terms. My other comment was, what were the problems in getting a council consensus on the blower ordinance? What were the issues? I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward. It's not actually as strict as Princeton's and many others. So I'm wondering what the issues were and why it couldn't be introduced tonight.
There are many issues. They vary by council person, but as individual council people coordinating with one another, we did not deliberate outside of the public, but individually, one-on-one. I spoke to this person, that person spoke to that person. And at the end of a week of discussion or so, it became apparent that Mr. Carp, despite his, passion and support for this, was not garnering the support and votes he needed. So rather than put the public through, discussion and time consumption, the decision was made, and you right down to Mr. Carp having the option of going through that process or not, but he was pretty convinced in his conversations with different members, including myself, that he was not going to get the support. So Mr. Greenberg, the reason is multifaceted. I might have had different reasons than Councilwoman Greenblatt, for example, or Council President DeNoble, but collectively, Mr. Clark could not get the support to adopt the ordinance.
Can the individual council people share what their objections were? I think that would be educational for the public to see what what the hurdles are to get this, what I saw as a fairly good ordinance adopted. I mean, my own opinion is I would have made it even stricter, more in line with the Princeton ordinance, but I'd like to know from the individual council people, what their objections were.
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and I'm not at all trying to dodge it, but while everyone could probably speak contemporaneously about this, I'm not going to put everyone on the spot. Mr. Clark had a prepared statement. He knew the direction he wanted to take this, but what I will do is say we can address that question. We'll give everybody a couple of weeks to just prepare a brief statement that can be included in the minutes for our next meeting.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be instructional to know what the objections are, you know, in order to craft an ordinance that works for everybody. And along with that, just FYI, in Princeton, what the town did was they helped create a fund that would help some of the smaller landscapers convert over to electric. You know, donations were made, and you could probably, I mean, if Councilman Carp or anybody else wants to, I could connect them with one of the councilmen in Princeton who helped craft that ordinance, if they'd like to speak to them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's all I
Any-
got. Oh, and the video is still not working. It won't let me turn my video on. Is that something new?
I have no idea.
I think we just like a picture of it's
Yeah,
up
we
there.
look pretty
Yeah,
good in that picture.
That's high school graduation.
that's sharp. Yeah, we're gonna stay with that.
Is that, would Michelle coordinate that normally or
No,
no?
she allows anybody to
Yeah.
talk or use their
So there's
video.
no way we can open up the video.
That's all right.
It's not.
Okay. Keeping us moving, any other comments or questions about the agenda? All right, seeing no other hands, we will move on to item 9, back to ordinances, and now it'll be ordinance introductions. And once again, I will turn to Councilman Mitchell Clark to address 2026-24 for a second time.
Happy to. So as you know, we recently passed an ordinance where basements are to be constructed with a minimum vertical separation of 3 feet between the lowest basement floor elevation and the documented seasonal high groundwater table, when it used to be 1 foot. This ordinance that we're introducing now provides a narrowly defined mechanism for limited height relief where necessary to satisfy this mandated groundwater separation requirement. So, and we also wanted to make sure that this relief doesn't result in any additional stories, expanding the habitable space, or circumventing any of the existing zoning controls. We also needed to clarify and strengthen some of the borough's zoning definitions with regards to basements and cellars and crawl space and incidental storage, just to eliminate any ambiguity and to prevent any unintended reclassification or misuse of any of the below grade spaces.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Any comments or questions? Oh, let me say to the public, when we do ordinance introductions, we do not open up the individual ordinance to public comment or a public hearing. We do open it up every single ordinance that is being adopted. So 2 weeks from now, assuming we introduce tonight at our next meeting on May 5th, and when we're here for adoption, we will open it up for public hearing and public comment. But for right now, I'd like to ask the rest of the council, any comments or?
Yeah, I have one comment. This is an excellent ordinance to deal with the height restriction. I just wanted to make the point that based on the rules that were put in enacted by the NJDEP for real and the cafe areas, basically that 4 foot above FEMA flood surge area, this ordinance will have to change again, anticipated based on what we have to do in order to accommodate those new DEP rules. So this is a fix for the groundwater, but does not address the surface flooding from sea level rise. That's going to be a whole different change that we will have to deal with in the very near future.
Any other comments? Okay, my quick comment is, again, I want to thank Councilman Carp for leading this charge. This, to me, and I think to many of our residents, was important because it needed to sync up with the ordinance we adopted at our last meeting, in which we raised the groundwater clearance level 2 feet. It used to be 1 foot above FEMA, now it's or rather above, but not above FEMA, above high.
Groundwater,
Groundwater.
seasonal high groundwater elevation.
Thank you. Say that 3 times fast.
Seasonal, yeah.
Okay, anyway, we raised it 2 feet. And the idea was you tell residents, you cannot go 2 feet as steep as you used to, you've got to be 2 feet higher. But what does that do potentially to your roof line? This is saying, in that situation where you have been injured effectively by that change we did at our last meeting, we are giving the residents the ability to get up to 2 feet of the additional height on their house. Now, if you're right next door to 5 other homes that are all at 35 feet, the belief among the council is that extra 2 feet is not gonna make or break the neighborhood's, scape. And what was important is being fair to residents who are caught in the middle. What I want to echo is what Councilman Nowicki just said, which is, we all know that these real regulations are looming. As of right now, they are effective, well, they are in place, they've been approved, they've been signed into law by Governor Murphy as he was leaving. If they don't change, they'll kick in on July 20th. If they do change, we, the council and many other municipalities have at least made requests to the governor, to our legislators, to consider a delay in implementation to allow us all more time to adjust and adjust properly to the new regulations. But what Councilman Nowicki said to everybody is, and again, worth repeating, what we're doing tonight is a very interim step to keep being fair to our residents as anyone who might be building their house in this interim period. Once real kicks in, it's gonna blow up all of our ordinances. We're probably gonna rewrite most of our zoning ordinances. It's a really big deal. So this is an interim step, but I think, again, a very important one. And my final comment on this is, once again, Councilman Carp led the discussion here, led the drafting of this language, worked closely with Mr. Cohen, the chair of our land use board, and also worked with Councilman Nowicki. So we have a lot of people to thank for this very quick turnaround. But I think this is a very good amendment to our ordinances. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing that. Any other comments or questions then? With that said, Mr. Carp, would you like to make a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the introduction of ordinance 2026-24, amending chapter 450 zoning.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 2026-25, which is basically adding fees to our lead-based paint inspection ordinance. And Mr. Cannon, if you wouldn't mind, just give a 2-second overview of the changes we're incorporating.
To the 451?
No, lead abate. Just the fees, really, right?
Yeah, sure, I have to pull them off. I know that the initial inspection is, or lead surface. You know what, I don't want to put it, let me just pull this. That way I get it right the first time. There's important. The $200 per dwelling unit for a visual assessment, $25 filing fee, and a $295 for reinspection upon failure. An additional $20 per unit fee from multifamilies would be collected and placed into the Lead Hazard Control Assistance Fund, which gives monetary assistance to substandard housing to abate lead.
All right, thank you, sir.
I also, the other thing I'm sorry to say,
No,
but
please.
if I keep going, just so people have the full day. So there's an exemption under section C, and this is what I was mentioning to Ms. Duffy before. If your unit or your rental unit or your multifamily dwelling has a lead safe certification, which is a higher certification that you can obtain from that list of contractors, or the borough's contract for that matter, then that's a lifetime certification. So you just bring that along, just like your other documents for your insurance for your rental property and everything. And that's lifetime. That's a higher fee, and I don't want to quote it. It depends on the contractor you call, and also depends on your particular property circumstances. But the lead safe certification is lifetime as well, and you don't have to do that. It's not a repetitive fee at that point.
All right, is that it?
That's the full picture, man.
Thank you, sir. Any comments or questions from the council? All right, I will make a motion that we vote to approve introduction of ordinance 2026-25.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yeah.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Let's see. Okay, ordinance 2026-26 is an ordinance amending chapter 451 of our fair share housing, and affordable housing. And I'll give a quick overview. Mr. Ken, I'll also ask you if you want to add any comments after, but after the borough, joined round four, participated in round four of the affordable housing. We then worked closely through our planner and our attorney to negotiate a settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing. And with that settlement agreement came overlay ordinances. And we needed to include those overlay ordinance amendments in chapter 450. Chapter 450 is our zoning chapter. Interestingly, and none of us really picked up on it until we went through this process. Number of years ago, many years ago, like 2017, there had been a chapter 451 established for overlay zones. Because there was an assumption back in 2017 that the borough at that time would be complying with fair share housing. That all never came to be, but it was put in the wrong zone. Should have been in 450 zoning, not 451. So Mr. Cannon has worked diligently to make a reference that ties anyone who's looking for overlay zones to 450, which is what we adopted a couple months ago, by adjusting language in 451. However, we still have to leave the rest of 451 there because that includes other things related to affordable housing, such as development fees for residential and commercial properties. So we had to leave it, but we had to, this whole section called overlay zones, we had to change the title and move a reference to the overlay zones now being located in 450. Can anyone repeat that? Anyway, Mr. Cannon, anything you can add or clarify?
No, that's all. This just cleans up the latter chapter following our prior ordinance. We'll actually have one more cleanup as well to deal with the numbering on the original overlay zones. We'll have that in a couple of weeks.
Perfect, thank you. Any comments or questions from the council?
Just a little housekeeping, right? We like that.
We got a good amount of housekeeping.
Yeah.
Okay, so with no further comments or questions, I will make a motion that we approve the introduction of 2026-26.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Moving to item 10 on the agenda, communications, there are none. Moving to 11 on the agenda, resolutions. We have consent agenda resolutions. Does the council wish to address any of those individually?
No.
Okay, seeing none, then no requests. I'll make a motion that we approve resolutions 2026-117 through 2026-120.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes, and while we didn't comment on any of these individually, I do want to just call out to the public that 120 was acknowledging the probationary firefighter appointment of Patrick Collins. So we're excited to have someone joining our fire department, Mr. Collins. All right, now we'll move to individual resolutions. 2026-121 is a resolution reappointing our municipal court judge, Paul J. Capitorto, for a 3-year term effective July 1st of this year through June 30th, 2028.
Actually, that should be 29. I apologize.
So 2029.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Second? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Second.
Oh, yeah, motion, please. Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-122, I'll make a motion that we approve. Well, first of all, I will not make that motion. The resolution is.
Gee, thanks. Drum roll first.
I'm trying to move this along, but anyway. Resolution reappointing one Miss Erica Costas, who happens to be our clerk. RMC as municipal clerk for the borough for a 3-year term beginning on April 28th, 2026. And this time she got the dates right, 3/20.
Write the resolution though, so that counts.
There we go. Pursuant to NJSA 48-9-133.7. Any comments or questions?
When did it expire on the 20?
There's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm
Okay.
behind this, I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, all right.
Can we all second it or?
I will make the motion that we approve 2026-122.
3, 2,
Second.
1, second.
Yeah, I really feel the love. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
What? Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-123, appointing Don Baldwin as a part-time plumbing subcode official and plumbing mechanical inspector for a 4-year term. Any comments or questions? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-123.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. The next item, 2026-124, I would like to turn over to Councilman Nowicki.
Okay, 124 is authorizing the award of professional engineering services with CME Associates for preparation and submission of a grant application for Sylvan Lake Pathway and stormwater improvements. Just to give some clarity to what this is for, we're currently going to be repairing the bulkhead from Madison to Evergreen. And so what this project is in working with the Borough of Avon, basically addresses continuing the pathway from Madison Avenue to Main Street, as well as stormwater manufactured treatment devices that basically catches the stormwater before it goes into the lake and filters out grass clippings, sediments and whatnot, so they don't get into the lake. So this is something that we wish would have been implemented a long time ago, but this basically prevents sediments from getting in. So this is a step that remediates a continuous degradation of the lake. It also includes a manufactured treatment device across Main Street where the water is coming down from Monmouth County, and which is like 80% of the flow coming into that lake. And so there's a larger unit that will be put on Avon's property on the west side of Main Street that will capture that flow, filter it prior to it getting into the lake on the far west end. And so we're applying for a joint Avon and us Monmouth County Parks grant that will allow us to obtain up to $2 million of 50/50 matching, but to be able to get the funds in place to continue the remediation of and fixing of Sylvan Lake. So any questions or comments?
Did you just mention it's a matching or no?
Yes, it is a match.
It is, so if we
50/50.
50/50, so potentially $1 million in grant funding,
Correct.
and then both municipalities need to match that amount
Would be 500,000 each of them match.
each. Okay,
And then we would each get 500,000 from the county to apply towards the lake improvements.
great.
You mentioned the pathway as well, since that's on our side, that's also 50/50?
Yeah, so the thing that we're doing with Avon and these improvements, historically, we're doing things individually. But through that whole grant of the overall dredging and beneficial reuse of the lake, we're working very closely and together to pursue additional funding and for the larger projects of the lake. And that will help us because it's a joint between two boroughs. It carries more weight and we'll get more attention that way. So it's really been a very collaborative effort between the two boroughs.
Great. Yeah, and following up on your comment, Councilman Carr, historically, Bradley Beach has owned one half, the north half of the lake, and historically Avon by the Sea has owned the southern half of the lake. And when they've got grant funding, they've improved their living shoreline. When we've got grant funding, we've done work on our side. So your question was a good one, because what Councilman Nowicki's talking about is getting these manufactured treatment devices in place on our side of the lake. And normally, historically, you might view that as a Bradley Beach expenditure, but because these treatment devices are going to help us maintain the restoration of the lake by filtering out sediment, it will be a shared expense, even though 3 of those will reside on our side of the lake. 1 actually at the west end would reside on the Avon side.
Correct. And then just The reason why Avon is not putting any over on their side, south of the lake, is because they have enough land that they can capture those sediments to scour holes and bioremediation methods, because they have enough land to cut back those pipes before they get into the lake and treat the water naturally. Our pipes come right out of the lake and right off the road and go right into the lake. So there's no opportunity for us to filter through natural means. So that's why we have to put these manufactured treatment devices in.
So these align with our north-south streets.
Yes. Correct. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this grant application funding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes, and thank you, Councilman Nowicki, for continuing your work here. And keeping the theme going, can you also handle 2026-125?
Yes, 125 is authorizing the execution of a $2 million grant agreement with the state of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the borough's sanitary sewer infrastructure replacement program. So we've talked about this multiple meetings. This is the design money to complete the design of the sanitary sewer system. So we did half of it from, the system's been replaced from Bradley Boulevard out to Fifth Avenue now. This completes from Fifth Avenue out through Lake Terrace. So this will pay for the design of all of that rest of that system so we can implement the construction jobs. And so what this resolution does, it basically authorizes the administration to execute the grant with the DEP so that we can receive this $2 million, get reimbursement on work that we've already done that we've just designed on Fifth Avenue, as well as on Ocean Park, and be able to finish the rest of the system. And basically that's a zero match. That's 100% $2 million that will pay for the design that Suburban Consulting Engineer is doing. Any questions?
None?
Try to give all the answers before you ask the question.
That's good.
But I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 125.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble? Ms.
Yes.
Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes, and once again, thank you to Councilman Nowicki, and also thank you to Councilwoman Greenblatt. You guys have both been instrumental in getting us this far with Suburban Engineers. Moving to 2026-126, this is the resolution awarding a non-fair and open professional services contract to Michael L. Collins to serve as special counsel at a cost not to exceed $10,000. My hope is it'll be substantially less than $10,000, but as we mentioned in the earlier public comments, this gentleman, one, has defended Bradley Beach in earlier lawsuits related to forms of government. He's an expert in that space. As I also mentioned, Mr. Cannon, our own expert, deferred and said to me, Mr. Collins would be the perfect person for us to bring in. And of course, he worked with the former Charter Study Commission. So, he rang all the bells. Any comments or questions?
Am I correct to make the statement that the clock is only ticking, just in response to Mr. Kaplan's comment? The clock is only ticking if we're looking at this year in terms of implementing. But this is a larger plan that we're looking to do, not necessarily on that time frame.
Not necessarily in that time frame, but I mean, that is an option. My understanding is the option. So without going too far down this rabbit hole and getting a million people asking more questions that I don't know the answers to yet. That's why we hired Mr. Collins. There are references in state statutes that say there's a 4-year wait before you can do stuff, and others that say, and Mr. Collins himself told me, no, that should be interpreted a different way. But we have charged him with coming back to us to make recommendations. It would have to be either this year, a referendum, if we were to go that route, a referendum, either this year or next year, because it would have to be in place for the change of current council's terms. We'd have to 1/1/29, if there was, election process at the end of 28 for these terms to begin, these collective terms, if we were all to run again, for example. 1/1/29 would begin, those elected officials, whoever they are, would begin with staggered terms. But we can have that referendum this year or next, depending on a multitude of variables.
Thank you.
That's what we're looking for.
Good.
Okay,
And actually, we should also, there's also other ordinance, basically, there's a number of proposals that are short of something that would require a charter study commission, like the process we did last time. Some of those are ordinances that will also be helping us out with as well, and providing some help with me to be in the various case law that's been created here directly in the borough as to what's permissible and what's not. We want to work together, and at minimum, we need a legal opinion on whether we can move forward within the 4 years. And Mr. Collins is essentially at this point, the or one of the recognized experts in charter studies in New Jersey. So we really couldn't find him enough. Actually, I literally saw him described that way in the newspaper the other day. So
Nice.
no, we're very excited to have him. He's worked with the borough before. He's worked with the Charter Study Commission, an expert in his field. So more to come on that. But right now, I would like to make a motion that we approve 2026-126.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Okay, item 2026-127. This is awarding the concession license for the borough's new beachfront promenade concession. This is the old sewer pump station with the cinder block building that's been a fortress on our beachfront for unused fortress for like 50 years, give or take. We're very excited to have a new concessionaire won the bidding. Was the Mr. Kennedy, or does somebody know the bid amount? It was 21,000 and change.
Yes.
VA, do you know?
So,
that?
yeah, the first year, and then it ratchets up every year for year five.
It was
21,100.
21,100, okay. And I know,
Which is above the minimum bid threshold.
okay, and I'm gonna call on you.
Now, did you meet with Legacy today or no?
So I
Okay,
spoke with him on the phone last week. We were gonna try to meet today. It just didn't work out, but
Okay.
hopefully by the end of this week.
because a lot of people have been asking who is taking this over and it's called Legacy Hospitality and Communication. And I just did a little research to see who they are and what they offer. They're a professional team known for a community first approach. They have a proven track record of managing popular spots like the Garwood Sports Complex, the Graydon Pool in Ridgewood, the Mountain View Golf Course, Colony Pool in Chatham, East Brunswick Ice Arena. They bring their values of excellence and genuine hospitality to our oceanfront. They're committed to providing a high quality, reliable experience that our residents and visitors will truly enjoy. So these are things that we can look forward to. We don't know specifically what they're going to offer, but it's definitely not their first rodeo.
No, they have an outstanding track record.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. That's a wonderful addition to the beach.
And they have a very cool website.
They have a
Very important.
professional looking website.
And this
They
is a
do.
5-year contract.
Correct.
Yes. All good news.
So this year alone, this is our second new concessionaire coming to the boardwalk. First one being at the old Second Avenue Grill. They have a new name. I'm sure they'll be rolling that out. Today, they shared with me their website. The Boardwalk Bandit is the name, and more to come on that. And now we have this new concessionaire. So Bradley Beach is very excited to have two new concessions joining our boardwalk this year. So with that said, I would like to make a motion that we approve 2026-127.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-128, this is the shared service agreement with Manchester Township. Basically, the individual, Jeanette Larison, who's served there as our CFO for pretty much the past 12 months. We are now proposing that we enter a shared service agreement to keep her on with resources at her disposal from Manchester for a period of time. This is structured to be basically a monthly agreement. Either party can terminate with 30 days notice. Every month it would be it's $1,500 a week, which is $6,000 a month, which could be $72,000 a year. It's not likely to go a full year. It's likely to go 3 to 5 months. Just as our own new CFO, comes fully up to speed and fully transitions into Bradley Beach. But this is to create a shared service, which will give us more definitive funding of that CFO consulting role. Right now, we're just paying a pure hourly rate. Any comments or questions?
Does this just go on in continuity until we decide to stop it?
Or until they decide, yeah.
Or until they decide, but we don't
30
need
days
to
notice.
officially do anything, a resolution to keep it going further.
No, yeah, no, this is giving us a, up to a year, I guess, because it does say, 64,000, $72,000, I think. So anyway, no other comments or questions. I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-128.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-129. I am going to turn over once again to Councilman Nowicki,
The sewer guy.
the sewer.
The resolution of the Borough of Bradley Beach, County of Monmouth, determining the form and other details of its note relating to the Water Bank Construction Financing Program of the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank to be issued in the principal amount of up to $2,535,000 and providing for the issuance and sale of such note to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank and authorizing the execution and delivery of such note by the Borough of Bradley Beach in favor of the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, all pursuant to the Water Bank Construction Financing Program of the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. Now that you all got that, how many times did I say Water Infrastructure Bank? So this is simply put, so we've gotten agreement with the Water Infrastructure Bank to fund the construction of the remaining portion of our sewer system and the whole north end of all the sewers, which is what I referenced when I talked about the $2 million design line. This is for construction. We have gone to construction this September, 2 sections of sewer, the completion of Fifth Avenue and the completion or the first 2 blocks from Ocean Avenue up to Madison of Ocean Park, where we had many problems with maintenance of the sewer collapsing and failing. The $2.535 million is the overall cost for those 2 segments of sewer. Now, we're taking a note from or providing a note to the infrastructure bank because they are going to fund short-term that financing at a 0% construction, 0%, 75%, 0% interest rate, 25% bond rate. We're not going conventional bonding on this. We are borrowing money from the Water Infrastructure Bank at that low rate because we're qualified into that program. So this is the first piece of that. The whole 2.5 million is what the construction will cost, as well as the inspection of to complete that sewer, as well as the paving. The paving costs will get reimbursed by the DOT. So that dollar value of borrowing will come down and get reimbursed by the grant from DOT for the paving. And then the remaining portion of that cost will be part of the overall program of the infrastructure bank for the whole sewer system. So this is the first $2 million roughly of sewer work, which we will be getting principal forgiveness on, because we're qualified for 3 years of principal forgiveness with the DEP. So this is the first resolution to short-term fund that. We have to pay the contractor and whatnot, complete the project, and then we turn around and we will apply for the principal forgiveness upon the completion of the project and apply to grants from the DOT. So this is an interim funding mechanism with the Water Infrastructure Bank to accomplish all of this.
So is it fair to say, if it does turn out that the project cost is 2.5 million, and ultimately we will get principal reimbursement of 2 million,
Correct.
we effectively would be bonding at 500,000 at an interest rate of 0% on 75% of 500.
Minus the grant money that we get from the DOT, which is roughly $700,000.
Okay,
So this, we have, our numbers right now could probably come in under that
okay,
dollar
perfect.
value, but it's all based on what the bids come in from the actual contracting community. We're waiting for authorization from DEP. I believe we've received authorization right now for advertising. So we are looking to advertise this. We're not going to begin this construction until September because of the proximity to Ocean Avenue and being high season. It would be just too much disruption right there in those first 2 blocks of Fifth, as well as Ocean Park. So we're gonna delay that construction until September. But we're gonna award this as soon as we get bids in, which would probably be by June.
And it's not until like year 4 where we won't be granted the principal forgiveness. In year 4, we'll have more of a liability, but we'll be under the infrastructure bank, which is at
Well,
75.
I would say, right, we won't be getting forgiveness of our principal, so we'll start to accumulate costs.
Mhm.
Probably before then, because we're gonna have to move every spring and every fall and build out portions of this, because we want to complete this program within 5 years. And hopefully it was, less than that.
So everything that we've lined up to date, including potentially $6 million of grant funding, the
Principal forgiveness.
principal forgiveness, but does that in any way limit us in seeking additional grant dollars later?
Not when it comes, yes, from DEP for the sewer specifically, but not for the paving work from DOT. We are continuing to apply for all the borough roads, DOT local road aid, which is what we've been doing here. So we're gonna continue doing that to offset that cost and reduce the overall costs and use DOT money. Once we build the sewer, then we can turn around and use DOT money to redo the roads. Matter of fact, that's what you're seeing out right now on Fifth Avenue. They're grinding down, they're milling off the surface while we replace the sewers back in the fall, and that's getting repaved this week. And that's DOT, so DOT money is gonna help pay for that, the surfacing work, whereas, that particular project we bonded for, that was not part of the water infrastructure bank.
Are the county roads and the borough roads for repaving handled similarly?
Differently, just like Main Street. So you have 3 different agencies involved. You have the DOT, which is Main Street, that's a state highway. So we have to work with the state highway when anything we do on that road, including road opening permits, resurfacing, any of that. When it comes to Brinley, Lake Terrace and Ocean Avenue, those are all county roads. So we have to work with the county on what we're going to do, road opening permits, and coordinate with them. When are they planning on resurfacing? How can we use their deep pockets to help when they're programming to pave, so we can coordinate when we do our sewer work. So, and I'll just throw this one out here this fall, we're looking at beginning the sewers and doing the sewer construction on Main Street. And we have to do that this fall because the DOT is coming in and redoing all the intersection signal equipment along Main Street. And so and they're gonna be resurfacing those intersections and redoing the curb work and everything else in those intersections. So what we don't wanna do is come back after they do that and disrupt it with sewer work. So we need to get our sewers in before the DOT comes, which Matt's already started coordinating with them to be able to put us later in the schedule so we can get our sewers done. Then the DOT comes in, they do the intersections, and then we have the whole streetscape program from revitalization of Main Street that will probably be out next spring or next fall, depending on how fast DOT can get done. So there's a lot of coordination going on to fit these pieces of the puzzle together and do things once, not twice, and capitalize on all the funding for these sewers. And so with that being said, way too much information.
One quick question though, on Main Street, are we replacing the sewers on the entire stretch of Main Street in the
All the
fall?
sewers that are on Main Street will be replaced.
On Main Street?
Yes, as well as the connections out to the curb, to the house connections of the buildings. But keep in mind that it's a strange thing that Main Street isn't a continuous pipe all the way down. It goes maybe 1 or 2 avenues and then it turns 90 degrees and heads down, towards, down the east-west streets, the avenues down to. So there's gonna be pieces that don't have sewers and then pieces that do have sewers. So it depends on where you are along Main Street. So, and probably see the surveyors out there, they've already surveyed it all. They're right now working on the plans. And we're hopeful to be able to advertise that contract this summer, getting it ready for a September, October construction after the high season. So with that, any more questions?
Hurry up.
I'd like to ask for a second. I make a motion to approve this. Any seconds?
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Councilman Nowicki, you're on a roll. Would you mind taking 2026-130?
Yep, so 130 is a resolution for the Borough of Bradley Beach to County of Monmouth, New Jersey, declaring its official intent to reimburse expenditures for project costs from the proceeds of debt obligations in connection with its participation in the New Jersey Water Bank. So this is again just a completion of process of this previous resolution, and these are the steps in the process for the Water Infrastructure Bank. Any questions? Like to make a motion?
Second.
Seconds.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Thank you, Councilman. Moving now to the next item on our agenda, 12 announcements. There are none. 13A, the point of the agenda that I was looking forward to, the administrator report. I hope it's a good one tonight.
Thank you for setting me up for failure.
Yes.
So one thing I do want to report to the mayor, and council about and public is the work that JCP&L performed over the last couple of weeks in the northern part of town along Main Street. So if you recall, there were a couple poles significantly leaning over the curb, leaning over parts of Main Street itself. JCP&L came in with the assistance of the police to make it as safe as possible for them, replaced 2 of those poles. In replacing 2 of those poles, they moved the existing electrical wires, but also brought in brand new transformers. Those are the things that kind of look like garbage cans up there. Now they have completed that. They cut the old poles, but there's still wiring there from Verizon, Cablevision. There could be like MCI wires up there, WorldCom, if you remember them. Like a lot of these folks that just abandon their wires over time. Verizon has to come in now and remove those wires and put them on the new pole. Once Verizon does that, then Verizon is responsible for removing the old pole. So even though it was a JCP&L pole, they come in, they cut it, and then they rely on Verizon, and the BPU insists on this. Verizon removes it. We do not have a time frame right now as to when Verizon's going to come and remove it. But now they're authorized to do that since JCP&L is completely done. If you go there now, you'll see some bricks. It does look somewhat unsightly. We're going to secure that a little bit better. And then while JCP&L was here, I also walked them down other parts of Main Street where, you know, we don't have poles as dramatic as that, but there are poles that are rotted. There are poles that have attachments to them, particularly in front of the first aid squad, that have fallen apart over time. So those are going to be addressed as well. None of these are going to cause significant outages to folks. But what's nice for Bradley Beach, and if you watch what they were doing and how many trucks came, and how many man hours it was an expensive endeavor to get in those new poles. They also put poles off of Main Street closer to the train tracks as well. Again, you don't visualize it, but it's all important for Bradley Beach because it's JCP&L investing in the infrastructure that, you know, we rely on 24 hours a day. So it's nice to get them into town, and we're gonna continue to work with them to make improvements throughout the rest of Main Street, you know, trying to triage which are the worst poles.
Yeah, just on that note, in case anyone cares about this, I personally have been bothered since I moved here 20 years ago by these dramatically leaning poles outside of the old Speedway gas station. And within my first few months as mayor last year, I reached out to JCP&L. We went back and forth quite a bit, but they did agree a year ago to do this. And then they kind of disappeared. And thanks to Mr. Doherty's ongoing pursuit, persistency, you did finally get them out here a year later, but we owe a debt of gratitude to you, sir. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are you gonna comment at all? Because if not, I'd want to prompt you to comment on the open house for the rec center. We're moving the date, right?
Oh, yes, I wasn't sure if one of the council members was gonna comment.
Oh,
on
we're
it.
gonna, okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I stole Councilman Greenblatt's thunder last meeting. She chastised me for that,
No,
so.
no chance.
We
I
will,
certainly
we
don't
will
wanna do
leave
that
it,
again.
we will leave it to Councilwoman Greenblatt, and thank you. Is that?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, well, now we'll turn to mayor and council reports, and we'll start with Councilman Carl.
All right, just one for today, the first aid squad. For the operational period ending April 21st, 2026, the squad responded to 5 day calls, 4 night calls for a total of 9. All 9 were for medical, and there were no out of town mutual aids requested. The squad also requested no mutual aid. They also conducted 1 drill for the safety and education of the members on splinting and collaring for patients. Total volunteer hours for the period were 50, and they fulfilled 100% of their assignments for the period. They are still looking for volunteers for the first aid. They offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer for the first aid squad, applications can be found on the borough's website. They're also accepting applications for our cadet program for young people ages 16 to 18 who are interested in serving Bradley Beach.
That concludes your report.
That concludes my report.
Well, thank you, sir. We'll go to Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Good, thank you, Mayor. Recreation is hosting a Mother's Day flag football Friday, May 8th, 5:30 PM at the rec field. Rose's Kitchen food truck will be on hand with a savory menu of items for sale. Registration is $20 to $25 per person, which includes food options and a t-shirt. So come join the fun and celebrate mom. The senior club's next meeting is Wednesday, April 22nd, that's tomorrow, noon to 3 PM at the Biasi Center. Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3 at the Biasi Center. Spring Bocce League signups will be open on May 4th. So mark that on your calendar if you're interested in signing up for bocce. Links for registration can be found on the Recreation Department's page of the borough website. Summer Camp 2026 runs from June 29th to August 14th, Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 3 PM. Registration is closed and camp is full, but if you're interested, be sure to put your name on the wait list, which will be determined on a first come, first served basis. Enrollment will be updated mid-May to early June. Marine Science Camp runs July 27th to the 31st, Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 2 PM for ages 5 to 14 at Memorial Park in Neptune City. Space is still available. And just to follow up, the rec center will be holding a grand reopening now on Saturday, May 2nd. This date was changed because we're expecting a lot of rain this Saturday, which was when it was originally scheduled for. So the rec center's grand reopening is Saturday, May 2nd, 11 AM to 1 PM with a festive ribbon cutting, music, pickleball, face painting, and treats sold by the PTA. And of course, mayor and council are invited to join along with all the Bradley Beach residents. The rec committee's next meeting is Monday, May 11th at 6:30 at the rec center. The Arts Council met yesterday, April 20th. Mark your calendar for the Acoustic Coffee House Singer-Songwriters Showcase, Sunday, May 3rd, 2 to 5 PM at the Perfect Perk, 300 Main Street. Space will be limited, so please register through the QR code on their webpage. The Arts Council's first annual Arts Fest is Saturday, June 27th at Riley Park, calling all local Bradley Beach artists to participate in the visual exhibit Home is Where the Art Is at Posh Real Estate, which runs from June 27th to July 4th, with an artist opening reception on the 27th, which is the day of the Art Fest. The Arts Council is accepting submissions through May 31st. Please see their website for details and submission requirements. Anyone interested in helping on the day of the Art Fest, please reach out by email to artscouncil@bradleybeachnj.gov. No experience required, just enthusiasm for the arts in Bradley Beach. Their next meeting is scheduled for Monday evening, May 4th, 6:30 PM at the Biasi Center. And finally, the Fletcher Lake Commission met on April 9th. Keep an eye out as Fletcher Lake gets ready for the season. Commission member Sal Galicetti will be adorning the lake with spring flowers. The Bradley Beach DPW will be staining the bridge within the next few weeks. Once that's done, lights will be installed on the bridge, filling in any that are out. Aerators will soon flow with lights on the one beta test fountain. And speaking of fountain lights, member Bill Grafton is working with Monmouth University's Coastal Lakes Observing Networks, also known as CLONET, to test the lake's health and ecosystem pre and post season to determine any effects of light exposure to the lake's aqualife. This will guide the commission in possible installation of lights on all the aerator fountains. The Fletcher Lake Commission will next meet on Thursday, May 14th in this council chamber. And that's my liaison report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'll turn to Council President Jane DeNoble.
Thank you, Mayor. The Shade Tree Commission met on April 1st. They had two applications. 208 Fifth Avenue is removing two pear trees, which were pretty much dead anyway, and they're going to replace those trees. And at 410 McCabe, they're removing 4 trees and replacing them with 6 trees. So good news there. The tourism meeting was canceled. In school news, the PTA would like me to share and encourage people to go to the rec center grand reopening, as I call it. It was rescheduled to May 2nd at 11 a.m. They will be selling concessions at that event. And they also ask people to visit Ponchos and Wanchos because 10% of the sales goes to the PTA. The Board of Ed met on April 7th and they introduced their tentative budget. And despite increased health benefit costs and higher costs everywhere, our Board of Ed has managed to keep the school tax increase to just $7 a month for the average Bradley Beach home. This is an incredible achievement. Dave Ventanzola, the business administrator, and the Board of Ed are managing a full pre-K through 12th grade curriculum while staying entirely debt-free. And they maintain a healthy reserve. In a time when we see many New Jersey municipalities are facing significant debt, this budget is a model of disciplined planning. The final public hearing is on May 5th at 6 p.m. at the Bradley Beach Elementary School. I encourage the community to attend and see how the district is successfully supporting both our students and our taxpayers. And that completes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. I'll turn to Councilman Nowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those police activity for the time period of April 4th through April 19th. On April 11th, Ocean Avenue, Newark Avenue, patrolman Sean Johnson with a 38-year-old male from Neptune in the Newark Avenue beach area with no pants on and arrested him, charged him with lewdness and disrobing in public. Sergeant William Major and patrolman Sean Johnson made the arrest. On April 13th, I get all the fun things to report on. On 48 Main Street, a 31-year-old male from Asbury Park was arrested and charged with eluding police and obstructing the administration of law after fleeing from patrolman Sean Johnson while operating a motor vehicle on April 12, 2026. So Samuel Forjack made the arrest on April 13th and was assisted by several Bradley Beach officers. On April 15th at 323 Main Street, a 29-year-old female from Bradley Beach was arrested and charged with hindering apprehension after she provided officers with false information regarding her identity, knowing she had an outstanding warrant for her arrest from Jackson Township. Patrolman Anthony Baldamenti and Detective Gregory Pancha made the arrest. And just a piece of community information, the Bradley Beach Police Department will be participating in the Operation Take Back event this Saturday, April 25th. All residents can drop off any unwanted and unused medications at the police department between the hours of 10 and 2. We will not be taking any syringes or any other needle type medications, but to get rid of and clean out your medicine cabinet this Saturday between 10 and 2. And then with also a report on Sylvan Lake, the Sylvan Lake Commission met last week. CME came in and presented the project that for the bulkhead. along Bradley Boulevard. It was advertised, last week, so that project is out to advertising. We actually went through, they went through the plans and whatnot, and, we also wanted to make sure that we coordinated with the Shade Tree Commission regarding the planting types of trees along there, as well as what the tree commission is looking to do. And the borough, making sure that we're coordinated on that. In addition, the American Littoral Society presented plans on beneficial reuse of dredge material. So if we were to reshape or excavate out the lake's bottom, what could we do with that material? So they share different concepts of the expansion of the island on that's there where the swan is nesting, or the ability to use that material, creating sort of back bays to help with sediment control, as well as trying to quantify what we can do with the material on site as well as off site. Off site, we're looking to coordinate with the Monmouth County landfill, and we're hopeful that that will be the solution for us to be able to do a longer, bigger dredging project and use that beneficial reuse of that material for the landfill. In addition, the bulkhead project, I will share that at the commission meeting that we are taking the material when we build the new wall along Bradley Boulevard. We have to excavate out like a 6-foot swath of material in order to build that wall. That material, the intention is to use that material down at the promenade extension, which is right now, people have received, people who live within 200 feet of the beach, anywhere between Lake Terrace and Bradley Boulevard, 200 feet heading west, received a notification that there's a pending permit, and there's a public comment period on that permit for the extension of the promenade from 3rd Avenue to 2nd Avenue. Comment period was closed on Saturday, this past Saturday. And so we're now waiting to hear from DEP, when can we move forward with the permit and construction of the promenade extension. We need to actually build this fall. So we need to start construction as soon as possible. Because that grant expires, my understanding is December 31st of this year. So we need to expend that money and do that extension of that promenade. Promenade, people think, well, it's a great place to do it, because it's a walkway and it just extends the boardwalk another avenue. The true purpose of that promenade is for resilience and flooding and ocean surges. And it's critical for the southern end of town because that is the low point of the entire borough. And so whatever we can do to help armor the shoreline with, in this case, the promenade, in addition to the dunes, will only protect all the properties. And so it's really critical that we actually move that project forward. We actually gotten letters of support from the Environmental Commission, supporting that we move that project rapidly forward for resiliency from an environmental perspective, as well as from the Land Use Board. Voted unanimously to support moving that project forward as soon as possible, so that we can actually accomplish that project and have it done here by winter, by December 31st. So more to hear once when Mr. Doherty gets the call and says, okay, we can move forward with that project. But it's really a critical piece, and some of these projects are intertwined, and so that's why I'm going to take the opportunity to report on them. So that's my report for today.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm going to start my report where you just left off, which is also Sylvan Lake and these very major projects coming up, we hope, this summer. And I say we hope because, Councilman, as you said, we have till the end of the year to complete this project work, especially for the promenade. And what people don't appreciate is that there are all kinds of regulations that we need to comply with, both federal and state, related to protecting endangered species of animals, endangered species, if that's the right terminology, of certain plants. So it's quite the morass of, for want of a better word, red tape. There are a lot of rules, and they're all very valuable rules. I am 100% supportive of these rules, but we have to navigate those rules in terms of when construction can be done and when it can't be done, and when certain species of birds, for example, are nesting. So it's a monumental task in terms of what this council is undertaking with both Sylvan Lake and the Promenade. And I want to say this on the record, it's going to negatively impact the summer, assuming we can move forward. There are 100% going to be challenges, especially for the residents in the southeastern part of town that are nestled right in that corner where Ocean Ave and Evergreen and Bradley Boulevard. Because we've got the bulkhead, which runs along Bradley Boulevard, but we also have the promenade, which will be extended a few blocks southward towards Avalon. It's critical, I believe, that we do this, and we are gonna have residents raising concerns appropriately. I 100% understand it, but everyone needs to understand that these really are historic undertakings. I mean, we've been talking about saving Sylvan Lake, the borough of Bradley Beach, for 20 years. Now we're finally making huge strides towards restoring the lake. The next version of this discussion will be around dredging, I would think. But the bulkhead, the outfall pipe, the promenade, of course, on the east side, all of these are, as you just mentioned, sustainability, resiliency initiatives designed to protect our residents from ocean surges, to protect that lake that overflows and floods. And decades from now, people are going to look back at this and say, wow, Bradley Beach accomplished things that we've talked about for decades. I want to tip my hat, as I'm saying all this, to Councilman Weber, who started this focus under Mayor Fox's administration to say it's so important that we deal with this really critical issue of extending that promenade and creating this additional, concrete barrier to protect the southern end of town from ocean surges. So it's exciting to see it coming together. I'm excited. I think the council's excited. I hope our residents are excited, but we are all going to hear concerns in the course of the summer, whenever we're allowed to work around the plants and wildlife, and DEP says go and federal government says go, we've got to go. So, more to come. I guess my final comment on that is we will design a very specific and ongoing communications program. It'll be a combination of newsletter updates and newsletter links to our website where we'll have formal updates, because this really will be a very substantial project especially for the southern end of town. So that said, I just want to say, everybody, mark your calendars for May 12th at 6 p.m. The Bradley Beach Library and the community has an upcoming 4th annual One Beach, One Read event. Again, May 12th, 6 p.m. And this year's book for adults is Have You Seen Louise Velez, written by author Catherine Ryan Hyde. So want to make sure everybody can try to make that on May 12th. Also wanted to just echo what I said earlier, that we, Bradley Beach, are welcoming probationary firefighter Patrick Collins. And then my final comment, once again, environmentally, I hope perceived to be very friendly announcement that our DPW is working in conjunction with the Environmental Commission and with former Councilman Weber, who is now chair of the Environmental Commission, to stake out very substantial stakes, I will say, protective cord to protect the dunes along all of our dunes along Bradley Beach. Last year, a volunteer group led by Councilman Weber put very nominal, I don't want to demean their effort, they tried, but very nominal stakes, maybe a foot tall, with very light cord string, almost thread, that really you had trouble seeing it unless you're right on top of it. And what happened was those small stakes got trampled. They got trampled by foot traffic, they got trampled by vehicles, emergency vehicles, lifeguard vehicles, and so forth, going back and forth. And Councilman Weber in particular was very upset about that. Obviously, all of our intention is to protect the dunes. This year, the borough, supporting Councilman Weber and the Environmental Commission, had secured and already put into the ground 6 foot tall, 6 foot in length stakes, 2 feet in the ground, 4 feet above ground, a very visible protective shield now with a very visible cord of some sort of, is it nylon or?
Nylon.
Nylon, okay. So And our DPW, this is just an additional task they've taken on beyond their normal beach maintenance and trash and recycling and everything else they do. But they said, we really want to do this, we really want to do it right. So they will be next. They've got the stakes in the ground, they'll be stringing them next. And I know Councilman Weber has also engaged an environmentally friendly firm. I don't know the name offhand, okay. But they, I believe, might come out to help do beach sweeps as well. So it's I think, a very successful initiative in partnership with the borough, the Environmental Commission, and this independent firm. I'll be sure to recognize their name in our next meeting, to just make sure we continue to, support resiliency and support the protection of our dunes. And that concludes my comments. I will now turn it over to item 14 on our agenda, which are public comments or questions about anything on the agenda or not on the agenda. Yes, Ms. Meadow.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park, on the minimum. Greenblatt, thank you for being specific about the time of the rec center event. We moved to the 2nd. As of this past Monday, the time was not posted on the sign outside the rec center on Main Street for the event. So times that you give us here is much appreciated. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned communicating the various future projects via the newsletter and or a link on the website. I would say that needs to go further. I guess we had some work done by JCP&L. Apparently it was not an emergency, even though we might have thought of it as an emergency. But had that been posted on the website, perhaps people would have saved themselves some aggravation and time by getting off of Main Street and taking an alternate route. I do not understand why a planned construction event for the town was not posted on the website. And when I say website, I mean Bradley Beach NJ.gov. I do not mean Instagram. I do not mean Facebook. That being said, for 4 years, I requested of the previous administration beach badges to donate to the library because they use them as a fundraiser for holiday decorations. I was met with silence. In 2025, I addressed the new mayor, and he was able to secure and donate. I just was the intermediary, numerous beach badges for their fundraiser. The record needs to show that as of 2 weeks ago, out of his own volition, beach badges were donated again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An employee delivered them, who shall remain nameless because we can't talk about personnel, but thank you to the employee. And I just hope that this serves as an example that you can proudly serve for your residents. You can do things without spending money. You can make Bradley Beach a nice place. So really, thank you very much.
Thank you. And on that note, the donated beach badge, just so everyone understands, these are a couple years old or.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they're somebody else's trash is our treasure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they're non-usable, they're non-saleable.
Right, exactly.
But
But they're beautiful artwork, as I understand.
yes, and, oh, wait, let me put that back on. Personally, given the timing, I would have thought we could have done a whole fundraising thing with the 250th birthday of our country, which is also not posted on our website, so I'm guessing we have no events. So I'm guessing we ought to leave town and go to other towns to celebrate events. Because I don't know, I've been told to be patient, but I'm looking at that website and I can't even find ordinances that we passed 2 months ago. So But yes, badges are great.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody. Rich Despin, 600 Third Avenue. When you have a discussion about the leaf blowers, I have a question first, so make sure I'm saying the right thing. The time that this is going to be is what date to what date?
What was it that I missed what you said?
Well, I think the ordinance that was originally drafted was from was from Memorial Day to September 30th. That was the time where the gas powered leaf blowers would be banned.
As a year-round resident, I ask you to consider going beyond those dates. Because there's a lot of spring cleanup, fall cleanup, and there's other machinery besides leaf blowers that make a lot of noise as well. So I think that's something you should give some thought to. Well, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions in the room about anything at all on your mind? Yes, sir.
Greg Waga, 302 Third Avenue, councilman and my neighbor. Thanks for bringing sanity to a council. I've watched this on TV and it's sickened me at times, so I thank you for the sanity. The stars aligned tonight. This is my first meeting in 55 years. I've been a resident, the family has for 55 years. And a few things I need to make mention. I'd like to thank Mr. Doward. Last year, my neighbor behind me at 305 4th had some issue with bamboo, which then encroached into my backyard. With Matt's help, we were able to secure the removal, not yet the remediation. We need to follow up with that, of that bamboo from my neighbor, because it also affected my neighbor on Central. My neighbor on Central and I paid almost $3,000 to assist that couple who's ill in removing a couple of trees from his backyard. So Matt and a few volunteers, I presume, were there helping in the abatement of the bamboo. But again, we have to finish that some way, shape, or form, please, because I'm already getting the roots growing behind one of my homes. Third, while you're on a roll with JCP&L, we're on the north side. We buffer, again, our neighbors behind us on 4th. So behind and in between the homes or the property lines are telephone poles. The telephone poles, the transformers are so overgrown, not only with trees and branches, but with ivy. The one neighbor behind me did spray and cut all his ivy at the base, destroying the ivy and remediating that temporarily. While we're talking to JCP&L and to Verizon and to whatever other cable companies are in the area, we were the first to create the beach badge many years ago. Why don't we be the first to set a precedent in having all these cable companies come in and clean up their crap? We walk up and down 3rd Avenue to the beach. They're draped, they're wrapped. It's a danger. Even little kids, can unwrap and hurt themselves. So maybe we should look into that and see how we can pursue that while we're on a roll with the properties on Main Street. Third, Mayor, last year you sent out something very nice, an memorial honoring veterans. I did send a donation in. Do we have an update on that?
Yes, actually.
And again, forgive me my ignorance for not being here, but the stars aligned and I'm here.
Thank you for asking. Last year, as you're referencing, we sent out, under my signature, the borough sent out a letter requesting donations. But even with a $5 1 penny donation, as long as there was some donation, we would put veterans, a list of veterans that families wanted to remember or acknowledge, living or deceased, in the appendix of a brochure that the brochure itself is focused on fallen heroes. our Bradley Beach Fallen Heroes. There's 20 of them total. So we had a brochure last year. We requested donations. We did receive many generous donations, all via check, because we did not have a online capability. About a month ago, I drafted a follow-up letter to do the exact same thing. But I was told, and in fact, it was just confirmed to me like yesterday, that we were setting up the ability to do online contributions. So someone could use a credit card, for example, as well as a check. And just earlier today, I authored a couple minor edits to that letter. So that a similar letter is going to go out, and we'll have that link in the newsletters that go out from Amy Baker. So we will ask our residents if they care to make any voluntary contributions to help our fallen heroes, have the ability to name loved ones that were veterans in the appendix. And hopefully we'll continue to raise money. It's all dedicated to a trust, Fallen Heroes Trust. And the hope is a number of things. Last year with that money, we were able to build, this is not taxpayer money, all donations. We were able to build buy a boulder and construct a monument with a really, I think, beautiful brass plaque, substantial brass plaque. We added a 20th name to that plaque as well, John Quinlan, who had passed many years ago, but the borough had not yet recognized that person. So now our next goal is to come up with money that we can polish, if you will, or untarnish our existing war memorials, because we have a quote, $7,000 to do that and seal them, so they'll be more representative of the, of the honor we want to ongoingly bestow on our veterans and fallen heroes. And ultimately, at least we are contemplating, we would share this with the community if we move forward. But we're contemplating if we can build enough resources to perhaps have 20 street banners recognizing each of these 20 folks who died. So yes, there's a lot happening. So.
Okay, good. And just a couple more things, but stepping back to, I'm not just focusing on the 300 block between Central and Madison. I'm focused throughout the town on those cable wires. You drive up and down 6, and I think I have people who are nodding their head behind me, I hope, and maybe those on Zoom. But I think it's something that really should be looked into. It really degrades the neighborhoods and takes away more of a safety concern than anything else. I've had Verizon last fall. He was up there cleaning on a Sunday, cleaning cables. He cleaned everything up, but he dropped it on my side of the fence and my neighbor's side, but that's okay. At least it was down. And it seemed to make better sense from an aesthetic standpoint of view. The riprap, Council Nowicki, that's being included, because I became very intimate as an architect, and I became very intimate with the construction that was going on that store placement. And I spoke to the owner of the awarded contractor, and he said that riprap was going to be used for the promenade. Are there any plans posted for that promenade, or is it something you can just elaborate a little more on?
Yeah, so the promenade extends from 3rd to 2nd Avenue.
Okay.
That pile of rock that's
yes,
that was basically removed from the outfall pipe.
Yeah, I call that riprap. Yeah,
riprap. It's larger than riprap.
Yeah.
So that is actually going to be used on the promenade, but it's going to be used to armor the wall that faces the dune and to the ocean. So basically, those are going to be sheet pile wall, and then down below, underneath the sand, that those stones, those giant rocks are going to be there to protect from erosion. So when the ocean does surge, that wall won't collapse. It will actually protect the erosion of that wall in a bad storm event.
So sheet piles first before the wall, then the riprap?
The riprap would be on the ocean side of.
Correct.
And then on the interior, there'll be fill placed, and we're going to be using basically a various fill, but also looking to mix that with the soils that are being dug out from the bulkhead at Bradley Boulevard, brought over, and we're going to use that material instead of wasting it,
right,
and paying for somebody to truck it away and then have to go buy fill. We're trying to coordinate those two projects so that we can actually take that material and reuse it and cut costs.
Okay.
So again, just trying to be economic and,
Sure, how deep in off that wall is that?
Sir, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry, there are other
So
questions.
we don't have.
We don't have the details yet?
Not necessarily, no, I just want to let you know, normally there's a 5 minute limit, but
I
I.
apologize.
No problem, I spoke a bit, Councilman Noakis.
Okay, then we can discuss also.
So you could, if you're very interested in the detail, contact Matt, Doherty.
Okay.
And, so, we have plans under development.
Understood.
And you could take a look at those if you.
All right. Last question, comment, two more. One, thanks to our emergency services. I'm really taking advantage of my 55 years, right? And lastly, if there's anything that could be done between Evergreen, that white wall, and Avon, maybe you can award it to some sort of high school student to do some artwork, just to dress it up. It's been a white wall forever. And maybe we can do a wave scene or an ocean scene of some sort to create a little more dynamic between, since we're sharing boundaries on Sylvan Lake and expenditures. We've shared a border forever. Maybe we can do the same thing there. Okay, just a thought.
Right,
I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
and welcome to your first meeting. Anyone else in the room with a comment or question? Yes, sir. Mr. Gabbard.
Rafat Kaplan, 409 Brimley. Mr. Mayor, you just mentioned a 5-minute rule. Last meeting, in this portion of the meeting, by my count, someone went on for 9 minutes and 11 seconds with a variety of accusations and insults directed at 2 Bradley Beach staffers and a realtor who has probably sold more property here in the last 40 years than anyone. A well-known, respected member of the community. None of you said a thing in 5 minutes. It went on and on. Mr. Mayor, when you did speak a little bit after the 9 minutes of change, you were again interrupted with a promotion for a YouTube channel. I don't understand. So why wasn't something done or said at 5 minutes?
My,
You would answer that or not?
I would, I would prefer that you answer that.
Yeah, Mr. Kaplan, I've told him not to interrupt. As you saw during those 9 minutes, there's a lot going on there. And, I've received emails that we should have shut the speaker down and things like that. It's my opinion that that'll cause more of a problem for the borough and more waste of time, money, and resources than simply allowing it to go for the 9 minutes. So, that's on me. It's not because your elected officials don't have opinions or aren't in control. It's because I just don't think it's worthwhile to engage in that sort of rhetoric. It's a free speech of the mic, generally speaking, and I don't think that shutting it down is going to reduce the borough's legal cost or time spent on the issues that were raised. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, I do, but then, so take that 5-minute notice off the agenda then, so we don't have a 5-minute notice, right? So that's the first point, and then again, I was surprised that none of you responded. I mean, Mayor, you did say that it was somebody's opinion, but I was expecting more of a response.
I understand.
Any or all of you.
I understand. There are a lot of circumstances I'm not at liberty to discuss in public that weighed into our decision and my decision to let that continue. For the record, you've pointed out the negative commentary that individual made towards an individual in town. I would say if you go back and look at that, what I clocked to be 8 minutes, but if you say it's 9, I'm not gonna argue.
It felt like an hour and a half.
It felt
For
like.
the right.
But please also note that in that 8 or 9 minutes, I would say more than half of it was disparaging comments directed at my administration and our employees. It wasn't only at that individual. And I had to sit here under various guidance and freedom of speech doctrines, and to allow that person to go a bit longer than I think all of us would have liked. In the future, I will do a better job at trying to manage that. But as you said, as you saw even tonight, there were a couple of individuals who have gone over 5 minutes, and in general, as long as they're not being super disrespectful to their fellow residents, I'm gonna continue to allow some flexibility for 5 minutes in a generally quiet meeting. When I've got the room packed and standing room only and 50 different people want to talk, I'm gonna limit them very clearly to 5 minutes. So there's a little bit of an art to the science, and I do appreciate your comments, but you know, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of variables at play here.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Titus.
Julia Titus, 605 North Avenue. I just want to, just go on to this gentleman's comments about the wires and everything. If, I know that has been such an issue, and if we can, tag on to get the, cable providers and all these people who are non-existent to come and clean them up. Because it is a mess, and I had wires down from the storm, and it took them 2 weeks to come in and just tie it back onto my house, so it can be a little hairy, but it would be great. And also those transformer boxes, some of them are really rusted out and can be a hazard for residents. So it'd be great if we could clean it up, because we show that we can, and thank you so much for Al for really, and Matt for staying on that pole, because when you really saw it, you were like, oh my goodness. And I drive by it every day living on the north end, so thank you for that. And secondly, can we, and we have done this in the past, you know, now it's summer and the winter's over and everything, we have so much trash along the railway line. Between, I would say, probably, you know, Jersey Shore Fitness down to wherever residents are. And there's all kinds of trash, garbage. I know that New Jersey Transit gave permission. We had people clean it up. And also it's people with houses there maintaining their properties, so maybe code can go out there. Because I know there's some mattresses and refrigerators and stuff like that. Now that we have the nice weather, the snow doesn't cover that stuff up. So greatly appreciate if you could work on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Other comments or questions in the room? Okay, seeing none, turn to Zoom. I see a hand raised far top left corner. I can't read the name.
Eileen.
Eileen Shishis. Eileen Shishis. You are recognized. Eileen, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. Yes, oh, try it one more time, Eileen. Who's off this time?
Eileen?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, it's me. I'm Eileen today.
Now you're Jim.
Jim Shishes, 112 Fourth Avenue. I took the time the other day to take a look at the tennis court with the pickle boards on them. Since I had commented prior to all the work being done that as a tennis player, I could not play on the courts the way they were striped. I would like to congratulate the completion that was very, very well done. The resurfacing, of course, was excellent, but the striping now has a soft color for the pickleball and, of course, white for the tennis. And as a tennis player, there's absolutely no problem at all playing on the court the way it's been finished. So congratulations after all of that commentary that we had in the fall about the striping. Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shishis. Appreciate the follow-up, especially given the concerns raised by our tennis community. So until we get to a position where we can expand court surfaces in general, you know, the decision by the council was made to continue to share that court. And I'm glad to hear from the tennis perspective that the striping works. So thank you. Next is, oh my gosh, Mr. Greenberg, you seem to have aged.
And my hair got shorter and grayer. So I'm sure many of you may already know, and I don't know if the town has said anything formally, but speaking of fallen heroes, we lost an environmental hero, one of our own, Captain Al Majeski, who passed away a few weeks ago. And I was wondering if the town was planning on doing anything formally to honor what he's done for the town and what he's done for our environment. You know, the Bradley Maritime Forest was his baby, along with many other projects. And again, I was just wondering if the town was going to do anything for this man who gave so much to our town and so much to our planet.
So to your point, and we actually recognized him with a moment of silence at our last council meeting. And I actually did, you know, quickly overview the impact he's had on Bradley Beach, as well as New Jersey, as well as the Eastern Seaboard. So 100%, I agree with you. The town ourselves don't have plans at this moment, but American Littoral does. And they plan to have a celebration, they call it. It's not me slurring my speech. So they have promised to notify me, and we clearly will notify residents in the town, anyone who would care to participate. But you're absolutely right. He was instrumental not only in the Maritime Forest, but he was also instrumental just in Bradley Beach, with all the phenomenal, in my own opinion, progress we've made on Sylvan Lake. So he led the charge with Sylvan Lake as well. So just a true inspirational figure here, and we are aware of it, but I don't have, the town does not yet at this point at least have any concrete plans, but I know there are celebrations planned.
Okay, and just a shameless plug for another environmental organization, Surfrider Foundation. On International Surfing Day, we are having an Art for the Ocean art show at Gallery 619 in Seaside Heights, and we're looking for artists to donate art with impact. So if anybody out there is an artist and wants to donate ocean art with impact, they can contact me or go to the Surfrider website or Surfrider Facebook page and contact us there. So shameless plug.
Thank you, sir. All right. Again, I can't read the name, top left corner. Marianne Spillman?
Yeah.
Oh, Marianne Spillman?
Yes, Marianne Spillman, 902 Ocean Avenue. I've looked at the concession organization, this corporation that's going to be running the concession at the pump house. And I see that they have quite a business with different kinds of menu items. Are they aware that we won't have cooking in that facility? Is that part of what they've signed up to?
Yes, that was very clearly denoted in our specifications.
Oh, good. I'm eager to see what they produce under that no cooking, because they do have quite a broad menu. And my second question was, they've got a mission to expand into entertainment. That's a part of their business model. Are they going to be expanding into that grassy area and using that grass area for anything at all beyond what they're going to be serving out of that concession window?
So we've had no formal discussions other than to congratulate them for being the high bidder, which, we contractually awarded. But we're gonna very strictly limit any disruption to residents' views of the ocean or residents' quiet entertainment of the ocean. So I can't answer your question because we don't know what their requests are, nor do we know if we're going to approve them. But they know what our requirements were, and they were the high bidder.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And Linda Duffy, I see your hand up there. Are you with us?
Nope.
I see your hand. I don't see her.
No, don't see her either. There she is.
You're back. Linda?
Linda, you are up if you're interested.
She's trying to
You're muted still. Oh, okay. I don't know if this is one of those, can we unmute? Probably.
Oh, no, she did it. She did it. There she is.
All right.
Good.
Hey, hi, guys. Do you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
I wanted to thank you for Mike, hiring Michael Collins. He was wonderful. And I think he'd be an asset to the workshop that we're going to have hopefully soon, because Shanna said that she thinks that it's going to be later, but I think it has to be now. It has to be now because we need to give the voices to the residents of the town and not to the council. All right, that's said and done. I have a few Karen things to say. We need to have striping for parking on Brindley Avenue. Consistently, we have neighbors that park in the middle of their street over and over through the seasons, winter and summer, in the middle of their strip that nobody else can park to. So that needs to be addressed. And also, I noticed also my neighbors have been putting their garbage cans on their porch. Is that not acceptable? I don't think so. I don't want to look at those garbage cans when I look at my porch on the day. And I do think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much for all your concerns and considerations for the town.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, seeing no other hands raised. Oh, yes, Mr. Cohen.
I'd like to reiterate the comments of my Charter Study Commission colleagues. Michael Collins did do a very good job, and I appreciate you following up, Mayor, on the list that was included in the dissenting report, which we said we would forward to the council and bring Mr. Collins in to get those bullet points done for the town, because clearly the voters voted for the dissenting report. So we'd like to get those things done, and I appreciate you, bringing Mr. Collins in to do it in a very concise way, because that's how he operates. I did want to compliment and actually question the grants for the sewers. We were told for years there was no grants for sewers, and now all of a sudden we have grants for sewers. How does that work, Mr. Murphy?
So there's.
For years, there's no grants for sewers.
So I wasn't here, so I couldn't tell you what transpired, but there was grant money for design available through the water, DEP and the Water Infrastructure Bank. And we had qualified up to last year, July, for the 75%, 0% interest and 25% of construction at bond rate. With the potential for $2 million a year of principal forgiveness, and Councilwoman Greenblatt identified that after she had gotten elected. And then I just sort of, wrote her coattails a little bit to help make this happen. And I think, a smart person knows what they don't know. And so, she asked the right questions, talked to professionals, and saw the opportunity. And so we were able to, grab it just in the nick of time.
Sure. I mean, you see this $2.3 million, I want to thank all of you for working on that. That's amazing. And
Mr. Cohen, just on this topic, one other thing I've learned, because I was on that council for 4 years, that the administration, couldn't find sewer grant funding. One thing I've learned just in the last year or so working with my fellow colleagues is that a lot of times it depends upon the engineering firm. And we had a unique experience, I think, with Suburban informing us of this grant money being available. Other engineering firms we've been working with had not brought it to our attention. So I think we've casted a wider net, perhaps than prior administrations, and so far with Mr. Doherty's guidance, we've got a pool of engineers now, 7 or so firms, and we've said to all of them, bring us your ideas, grant funding ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think a lot of it's casting a wider net too.
I would just add that, historically, the town did get for resurfacing from the DOT, so that was a piece of what was gotten, as well as the promenade extension. Former councilman Weber was instrumental in helping to get that underneath the Fox administration, as well as the bulkhead work that we're doing now. That was actually obtained during the prior administration. But you also have to move very quickly on these projects, because they all have timelines and they all have environmental and different, as the mayor said, rules, red tape. And if you don't move quickly and expedite these things, you'll lose the money. And so we've encountered some of that here, that we're really pushing hard to get these jobs underway so we don't lose the grant monies that we've obtained. And so we have to be diligent.
sure. And to that point about the promenade and then the Sylvan Lake work, and then also the ordinance that you did tonight, 2026-24. I mean, the DEP needs to understand that home rule counts and we understand the impacts that we have here. And, you know, you're taking care of things, based on the environmental conditions that you know exist here. And the DEP reel is just a broad brush across everything. And, you know, I hope that, you know, your resolution, the land use board resolution, asking for a delay on that, gets to the right people. I think, we need to contact our assembly and senate representatives and say, hey, this is not gonna work here. But thank you for being, you know, reactionary and understanding the impacts of the groundwater and how it affects residents. But that was very important tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask one last time, any other comments or questions? Going once, going twice, sold. Item 16, we don't have a 15 anymore. Item 16 on the agenda, executive session, there is none. Item 17 is adjournment. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Right.